Welcome to the dumbest smart guy podcast on the planet. This is the Central Unintelligence Podcast. Yeah, buddy. All right. Welcome back to the good old CUP, man. Haven't heard that in a while. I totally forgot what it sounded like. Anyways, I'm Josh here today with Adam.
Yes, hello.
And today we're going to talk about, as the episode says, Big Trouble in Little Turkey. And it's a play on Big Trouble in Little China. Great movie. I enjoy that movie very much. But there are some problems going on in Turkey. And before we get into that, though, we're trying to reach the 1 minute mark so we don't curse. Because once I start talking about this, I will throw curse words. So I'm trying to get there so YouTube doesn't immediately downvote us in the... What is it? Comment? No, not the comments. In the rankings or the algorithm.
I don't know how it works.
I don't know either. But anyways, all right, cool. We've passed it. So, all right. People are acting like this is some sort of shocking thing that's happening in Turkey. And for those that don't know, essentially, Turkey, the government, is, they've been friends with China and they've been friends in BRICS. They're in BRICS, like they're in all these things. They're buddies with Russia. They're also a member of NATO, and they're very kind of wish-washy, and they go to wherever they want, right? And that's part of the reason is because they're run essentially by a dictator. I memean, I forget what the guy's first name is, but Erdogan, the president of Turkey, has been the president for fucking 20 years, since like 2000, I think 3 or 5. He's been in power for like 20 fucking years, okay? And you don't get in power and then stay in power for 20 years unless you're a dictator, all right? This is gonna say it. I think that's pretty basic. Hey, if you're in power for 20 years, you're a dictator, all right? Let's just be honest. So one of the things that he did is yesterday he had the mayor of Istanbul arrested on charges of what they were calling corruption, terrorism, supporting terrorism, and bribery. And this guy has been very outspoken. This mayor of Istanbul has been very outspoken and has said that he will be running for president against Erdogan in the next upcoming election, which I think is happening later this year. So what's very funny, too, is you can kind of see this coming, because one of the requirements in Turkey, which I didn't know this, but one of the requirements to run for president is you have to have a bachelor's degree. All right? Like, that's a requirement to run for president. You can't run for president unless you have a bachelor's degree. So this guy and mayor of Istanbul, he's got this bachelor's degree. And like a couple of weeks ago, the university that he graduated from sent him a letter saying that they were revoking his degree because he said he was going to run for president. So, because I'm sure Erdogan sent them a thing saying, hey, we're going to crush you and you're not going to get any more money unless you revoke this guy's degree. So then they revoke his degree. So now technically he's not legally eligible to run for president. And now on top of that, you go and arrest him on some bullshit ass charges. So there's massive protests happening in Turkey right now. Like, they're rioting. And another funny thing is they're kind of looking at us to help them. Erdogan's looking for help from America because the Russians and the Chinese can't really do it right now. They're too tied up with their other bullshit. They can't really be fucking coming to their aid. They're kind of coming to Big Daddy America and going, hey man, like, I know we've been sleeping with somebody else, but we want to go back to Big Daddy, all right? And I mean, we booted them out of the F-35 program because they were too close to China and Russia, and they didn't get no F-35s. Well, now they're kind of like talking about working this deal where they're going to get some F-35s maybe, and then also maybe we're going to help them. And so in the process of this happening, Twitter, or X, which is owned by Elon Musk, has begun deleting accounts. Any account that tries to discuss or post videos of what's going on gets deleted in Turkey. Like the protests, where to protest, the meetups, deleted. Shit's getting deleted. Now, someone who bought X to say that they were a free speech absolutist, and I've gone off on this in a whole tangent before, but here's another example of how that's just horseshit. Oh, if I was in charge of these social medias, I wouldn't be stopping people from protesting. Yeah, you wouldn't stop them from protesting the things that you agreed with protesting on. When it comes to anyone who holds an opposite view, you're very quick to delete that shit and get rid of it. So X is actively censoring anything that's going on about this like Turkey situation because there's a deal happening or in the works right now behind the scenes that we may be helping Erdogan stay in power, essentially. And I think that's kind of bullshit. I think we should let the motherfucker burn. I think we should just let him go. And the other problem is they've been talking all this shit about America first. Well, we're gonna help Turkey? Like, fuck those guys. They've done nothing but stab us in the back for the last 30 years. Let them go. Let them go the way of Bashar al-Assad. Let Erdogan go out that way. Let him fucking have to. Hey, you can go to Russia in your fucking multi-million-dollar mansion or penthouse or whatever. You can go flee to Russia. Get out of there. Let the country fall and start over from scratch. So, and I've been watching some of the protest videos. I've been finding them on like subreddits, and then like, you know, they've been posting them on like TikTok and stuff. And man, those people are getting like spicy with their cops over there, man. They're like launching fucking legit firework explosives at them, and they're like lighting them up. They're lighting people on fire. Like, it's crazy over there. They are pissed that they were like, people were really getting behind this guy, this mayor of Istanbul, and now he's been put in prison on trumped up charges, you know, no pun intended, and they're not happy about it. And coupled with, like you were saying, there's protests going on everywhere throughout the world right now. I mean, everyone's really just getting pissed off. Like, the world is coming to this moment where everything's just, we're just all getting pissed off right now.
Oh yeah, for like Serbia, it's like the protests in Belgrade with I don't remember the exact situation, but I think we talked about it. It was some structure that was made by some Chinese company, if I'm not mistaken, that Serbian government hired, and they ended up collapsing on people and killing numerous people. And the people of Serbia were like, we want accountability for the situation. They haven't taken responsibility for that. And so then they ended up going out into the streets and protesting. And now the cops are meeting on them with like, what are they called? Like the rubber.
Yeah, the rubber bullets and stuff.
Yeah, so
tear gas and
they're curbing their protests and shit. But I can't remember if it was the Serbian protest, but they used some kind of fucking I think it was a Serbia one where they used like a sonic weapon, and some person that's like an expert in physics, and I think it might have been sound. Like, I don't know what. I can't think of the word of a person that's like an expert in sound itself, but they were going over the audio tracks. Like they extracted the audio from the video of the thing that happened, and there was this like a parabola or whatever that popped up when everybody starts scattering. So I don't remember exactly how he explained it, but I guess it was enough for people to fucking get out of the way and feel threatened enough, like they thought they were gonna fucking die. So I don't know.
Yeah, and that's one of the big things too, is those sonic weapons or whatever. It's basically, like, my understanding is they're like, it's a high frequency sound that you can't really hear, but when it's pointed at you, like the ones I've seen are like a dish, and it looks like a satellite dish, and then you point it. And they have ones that are like broad ranging that just do smaller effects. But then if you pinpoint it down to, like, say, an individual person, like, it like makes, if they point it at you, it makes like your stomach fucking cramp up, makes you shit yourself. Like, it's like the brown noise almost. But
I mean, I imagine for sure, like, it fucking throws off your equilibrium, because maybe it bursts like your fucking eardrum or some shit. So you're all fucked up and disoriented. But I was like, man, I wonder if that's like shit that we know about right now. I wonder what the U.S. government has it, to tranquilize an entire crowd, like, on a fucking dime, dude.
Oh yeah, you just flip this fucking thing, you turn the switch and put everybody to sleep. Like, it just knocks everybody out. I'm sure that exists. And you know what's funny? We'll probably get to see that in the coming days. And some of the shit that's happening in other countries right now, you can guarantee that they're test driving that shit to see how it's going to work here. And that's part of this deal, I think, that's going on with Erdogan, is they're like, hey, you know what? But we know we're probably going to have some summer riots this year, so why don't we we'll just give you guys a bunch of this shit. You can test it out and see how it works, and then, we'll help you out. Here's your help. Let us know the results, and then we can adjust from there. But it's I mean, we saw the fall of Syria recently with Bashar al-Assad getting booted out, and now we may potentially be seeing the fall of Turkey. I mean, it's looking that way. And it just depends on how long these people are going to be willing to take it. With some of the shit that they've done thus far, I have a feeling that these people are in it for the long run.
I mean, if you have 1 million people showing up to a protest, I mean, that's pretty fucking convincing. I don't know what the total population of Turkey is itself, but I mean, 1 million people is pretty fucking convincing, especially if you're a person that holds authority in that country and you have people outside your window that are just willing to fucking tear you apart. That's pretty goddamn scary.
Yeah, they have 83 million people.
Okay.
In Turkey. Let's see. There was those fucking things that have the military. Oh yeah, global firepower. So supposedly, of the NATO countries, Turkey is the second largest military after us, the United States. But let's see in their military strength, their global firepower. This is a cool thing because it like tells you shit about like how many people are in stuff at a glance overview. So yeah, they have 18 available manpower. They have 17 million available manpower in terms of like 16 million fit for service. I mean, yeah, they could just draft people, but yeah, they have a lot. Like let's see, they have the single most important category. Their available manpower is 42 million. Fit for service, they have 36 million. So people that they could just draft. Right now, their total military personnel, they have under 1 million. They have 883,000 people in their military. So that is not enough. If you had a 1 million person protest, you could call in your entire military and it wouldn't be enough to overwhelm those people. Unless you started killing them. I mean, that's the only way you could really do it. But yeah, they got some problems going on there, and we'll see where it goes. But anyways, you got anything else to add for this one?
Yeah, there was some kind of summit between Japan, China, and South Korea, and amongst the bullet points that are summarized on Reuters is that Japan, China, South Korea agreed to prepare for a trilateral summit. China says countries together can exert international influence. Japan asked China to lift ban on Japanese food imports. Seoul, Tokyo asked Beijing to help denuclearize North Korea. So it seems like, at least from my perspective, that it looks like the world's moving on from the U.S. And I think that's no way to go about being a player in the global stage, I suppose.
Yeah, we're going to be ousted possibly very soon. And I don't know what the solution is. I mean, I kind of do. I have a thing of what I would do, right? Get us back onto the world stage, because we're slowly faltering. And again, it's very evident with the way that we are handling Europe right now. We're basically turning our backs on Europe.
Yeah, I mean, they're moving on too.
Right. And I think South Korea, Japan, they see the writing on the wall that, well, shit, we're probably next to get our backs turned on. And is America, people are now, for the first time in like 100 years, people are now questioning if America's going to come save the day. And there's serious doubts that we would be able to protect them, or would actually do it. Not be able to necessarily, but that we would protect them if push came to shove. And it's like, shit, if your next best option is if potentially China is the one that's going to come fuck with you, why not make a deal with them in advance? Hey, sorry, America, like, hey, we don't think you're going to come protect us, so we're going to make a deal with China and go ahead and, like, you know, have ourselves protected at this juncture. So I think that America is slowly going to become a third world fucking country by the end of this. What's crazy is we talk about, you know, in the past, every time there's been a major shift in like the global superpower or the global hegemony or whatever you want to call it, it never happens. There's very rarely that it happens peacefully. It's always some sort of like major conflict that takes place because of that. Because if you have essentially like a dying empire, especially America right now, we may be fucked in terms of like how much money we owe everybody, but our collateral on that is that we'll just come fucking save your ass if you're going to get invaded by some other country, because we spent most of our money that we owe you on defense. Well, offense, realistically, if we're talking about it. So if we were to take that stuff and say, okay, you call in all of our debt, whatever you want to do, and we tell you to fuck off, well, what are you going to do then? We still have the strongest military capability with the best technology out of anybody. So if you want to try to take over our shit or our world stage spot, we'll just start come fucking your shit up. And, you know, that is prime example of what's happening again in the Middle East with these renewed strikes. The ceasefire with Israel and Hamas is over. So they've started up in that. We started just assaulting fucking Yemen and the Houthis just out of the blue. Fuck you guys. And just started launching 24-hour a day fucking air raids at them. And it's been effective, I guess. So effective that we've also said that any attacks by the Houthis are considered attacks against us by Iran. So that's drawing the line in the sand there. We're definitely going to be attacking Iran. I don't know if we're going to be boots on the grounding it, but we are going to fucking do some sort of strike at them. They are very much signaling that that's going to happen. So this is the throes of a dying empire. It's lashing out because nobody wants to take us seriously, because they don't think because we're kind of turning our back on everybody. And now we're just going to lash out and fuck everybody up that we can. And Iran's probably going to be the first victim. I don't know what's going on with Russia. We may be making a deal with them. I don't know. There's some kind of deal going on behind the scenes. Who the fuck knows? I guess we'll find out more in the future. But obviously China is our biggest threat now. So everybody's making deals with them. South Korea and Japan, no exception. So, and part of me can't blame them. It's kind of like, well, fuck, man. If you want to ensure your own survival, what do? You can't just roll over and take it. Well, shit, I got to do something to stay around and not just become Greater China, essentially. Like, at least I can still maybe be Japan. We can still be South Korea allied with China. You know what I'm saying? Like, as opposed to just getting taken over and being north or southeast in whatever Japan, you know, or
shit, man.
China.
It's kind of like the Ottoman Empire, because they would let people exist as they were, but your loyalty was to the Ottoman Empire.
Yeah, and you pay your taxes up the chain to us. Like, that's how it works. Like,
you were free to be like you. There wasn't, at least from what I remember, is that there was no religious persecution if you were Catholic or whatever. Like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. But you just remember that you're part of the Ottoman Empire.
Yeah.
And if wartime comes,
you're coming in.
You draw swords for us.
Yeah, exactly. And that seems to be what they're doing. So, we'll see. But anyways, all right, you got anything else? Nope. All right, cool. All right, we'll kill it here. I guess we'll see what happens in the coming weeks. And we'll be back sometime soon with an update. Otherwise, go fuck yourselves. That was the latest episode of the Central Unintelligence Podcast. Don't forget, subscribe and like on Instagram and TikTok at Game Rage Magazine. We're also on Twitter/X at Game Rage Mag. Also our website, www.GameRageMagazine.com.